Welcome, everybody, to episode 7 of Keeping It Straight. I'm Shannon Hires alongside with my buddy Cole Huggins. And boy, do we have a guest for you tonight, guys. Mr. Brandon McDowell from Chandler, Indiana is going to join us on tonight's show. And, man, we're expecting a good interview with Brandon tonight.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good one. We put it up on the page earlier this week and had a lot of feedback, a lot more than we've had previously. And, I think it's going to be a good interview. And matter of fact, I think we're going to go ahead and jump right in on that. What's going on?
There he is. Mr. Batman himself.
How's it going, guys?
It's going. How's it going up there in Chandler?
It's good, man. We got rained out at work this morning, so I caught a little break, man. These rainouts are a blessing. Gives me time to get out here in the garage, or I don't know, hell, just sit on the couch and take 5 minutes.
I hear you. Yeah, I know once paving season starts, it's pretty much go, go, go. There's not a lot of stop.
There isn't, man. It's 9 months of just getting after it.
Well, I guess first question we got for you is, you've 2 races in, 2 wins. How's it feel, to start the season off with back-to-back wins at the Toilet Bowl at Clarksville early in the year, and then, of course, the Spring Fling at Western Kentucky Speedway Saturday night?
It feels good, man. I mean, winning always feels good, especially, early in the year or late in the year. Those are, I think Scott Bloomquist said it best, at the end of the year, you want to leave them with something to think about, or, coming through on these big events, making sure you show out and just, making that statement. So, I don't know. I'm pretty excited. We really wanted to build a new car over the winter. And, man, just had that kiddo. I had to get the house ready, and everybody's lives are busy right now, and just didn't have time. So we went through our car that we built, bumper to bumper, just freshened up and updated some things. And, man, I'm telling you, I'm as confident and as comfortable as I've ever been. I mean, she's pretty sporty.
Brandon, how did you get started in racing?
Man, that was a long time ago. I'll generalize here because I might be off on some dates. So, man, I was probably about 12 to 14 years old. My dad got me into go-kart racing, and he bought just some entry-level stuff with the promise that it was good equipment. Well, we quickly found out that it wasn't. My dad, being who he is, wanted to always have the best for his kiddos. He bought me the championships winner's cart, and we ran it for a season. And to be honest with you, go-kart racing just never really took off for me. I just didn't like it. So my dad had all this money and time invested, and it didn't work out, and he was pretty upset with me. But we took a couple years off. And Chandler Speedway is literally 5 minutes from my house. So I just told him one day I'd like to run mini stocks. And he put a little Pontiac Fiero together for me. And we ran it for a season, I believe. And again, he ended up buying the mini stock champions car at the end of that season. And we had pretty good success in it. And then he decided the following year to build our own Mustang. And, man, that thing, it was crazy. We literally got banned from 3 different states with that car.
Wow.
I mean, my dad, he maxed out everything on that car. And we ended up going down to Clarksville, first time ever, winning with it. And we sold it to some locals down there that I forget what they got, pure minis, and then another mini class that allowed rear-wheel drive cars at the time. So those guys ended up buying that from us, and we made the jump into open-wheel modifieds probably around 07, and I ran them for about 14 years. Jumped around from chassis. Started off with the Lightning chassis. We had a Pierce, a couple of Shaws, a Mark Bush car, and my most successful seasons were in a Bandit. So that's pretty much a rundown of the racing career.
You
Well,
said,
what got you in this? What got you to go? Because I know you've raced modifieds for a while. What made you switch over to the street stocks?
Really, more than anything, it was a financial decision. I feel like we were as good as anybody on a regional level, but naturally, just like every race team, we wanted more. But when we would go out and try to compete on the road, we had good runs, but we always didn't run as well as what we had hoped. And a lot of that came from a lack of resources or a lack of just not running that much. And running a lot takes a lot of money. And racing's important to me, but it's not important enough to drain the bank account. So I'm not trying to, cry any crocodile tears here, but it kind of just modified racing ran its course for us. Car counts aren't what they used to be. The payouts are not good. I mean, you'll have $100,000 in a car, and you're going out and racing for $600. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. Yeah, they have big events, but you're traveling 4 or 5 hours to hit those shows, and I don't know. It's just priorities and financial reasons, and like what you guys are doing with your series and stuff. It really interests me. I mean, our crate motor alone, the entire cost of it blueprinted from Hendren cost me what it costs to just rebuild our open wheel modified engine. I mean, it's just astronomical, the cost difference between the classes.
yeah, I remember. I know me and you've talked about it several times the past couple of years. Just the price of the mods have got outrageous, and I guess every class is kind of headed that direction. But
It is.
yeah, I think dollar for dollar, street stock racing is probably your best value because you're running. I feel like we're running for modified money, and like you said, for your cost is a fraction of what it take to run, a UMP car.
Yes, it is, and you're right. Everything's getting expensive, and you see these transitions in the sport. You see some late model guys that they're trickling down into modifieds now. You see modified guys such as myself trickling down into street stocks. It's the classes over the years, they reassess or reevaluate themselves, and then everything will neutral out for a few years, and then it'll transition again. There's going to be a point where some of these street stock guys are going to go down to factory stock because there's going to be experience and money dropping down into street stocks. It's going to help the class grow and get more competitive and better racing, but it's also going to push some guys out of the sport or, into a different class because they're going to run into what I did in the modifieds. They're not going to have the resources or maybe the money to keep up with where this class is headed.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because that was one of our deciding factors to start a factory stock class is because, like you said, people moving down and just the classes, I don't want to say moving down, just realigning, I guess. And we wanted to build something for the guys, and it's no disrespect to the guys, but the ones that aren't able to run up front now, that want to still race but don't want to be in the back or completely start over. They can make a few changes and have a class that they can move to and be competitive and still have fun and race.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, even look at Kenny Wallace. I mean, half the time his videos get on my nerves, I'm gonna be honest with you, but he makes some valid points. I mean, him out of anybody could probably get whatever resources, and he can talk all he wants, but it's he's got to be doing well for himself, and that's great for him. But even him, somebody of that stature, not racing late models, and he'll tell you straight up, it's not in the budget. I've right-sized my program. And I don't know, that kind of hit home for me to hear somebody like that say that. So we've right-sized our program, and I don't know, we're having fun. Obviously, winning's always fun, but our nightly expenses, I'm talking like everything involved. I'm between $300 to $400 a night is what it costs me to run this car. Modified, anywhere from $1,000 to $1,300 a night. And
Wow.
we don't leave the house unless it's at least $1,000 to win. And you guys are doing a good job getting the payout pretty good too. Because I mean, yeah, we go to win, but that's not guaranteed every time. But if I feel confident we can be a top 5 or top 3 car, and that payout in that range can cover my expenses, then we go. You know, it's a financial decision anymore.
Absolutely.
Well, what are your plans for 2024? I know last year we seen you at Why Not at the World Championship. Do you plan to come down to the Street Stock Nationals this year, or do any more traveling like that?
So yes, I really, we planned on doing some of that ultimate stuff because, I feel on a local level, we've done what we wanted to do, and it's time to branch out and hit different tracks and run bigger events. And with ultimate, you know, this, what happened there, it's kind of unfortunate. It's, you know, the one time that we're going to actually branch out and hit some shows, now we can't hit them, you know. But yeah, we'll be at Why Not. Man, I've been at a few different tracks with this car, and I'm telling you, we've changed hardly nothing from track to track. But we threw the kitchen sink at it at Why Not, man. That place turned us upside down. I like it, I really do. But as a driver and setup, I mean, we were getting out there. We're looking to try to redeem ourselves. And really, we didn't do too bad. I mean, we finished 10th our first time there, so respectable.
That's really good.
Yeah, respectable, but we want more.
Well, the Street Stock Nationals, you know, we start that race 3 wide, which you've probably been to some modified races that done that. 3 wide, and we start 36 to 39 cars.
It's intense.
But we, like last year, we had a guy start. What did Cody Chisholm start? Like 33rd?
I think
it was somewhere in the deep 30s. He took a provisional to get in, and he finished 3rd.
I think he gained 33 positions. So
yeah,
he started last.
It was crazy.
That's awesome, and that's one good thing about. I mean, even Shane Clanton. I was watching an interview with him the other day, and you know, they were talking about how the bodies are getting so wild and the tracks are latching down so quick because the cars are just they're not maneuvering, they're not getting all over the racing surface, and they're rubbering up. And even Shane Clanton made a comment about street stocks. He said, you go watch them guys, they're 3 and 4 wide. Even if there's rubber on the track, they're still racing. And that's what's nice about this class is it's they look good, they race good. Right now, I don't know. I think everything's right for the street stocks.
Well, how does it feel to how can I put this, Cole? To cause not a rule change, but a clarification in rules over a certain roof. What would you call that? A fin or a wing or?
Yeah, there's a reason the car's not in the video right now. I mean, there's probably going to be some more rule changes coming. I'm just going to say that.
That's awesome.
Which I love. And hats off to everybody, you know, teching these cars. It's, man, super unfortunate what happened to those guys at Alltech. Man, it turns my stomach because that's my biggest fear is, let's be honest, there's things in the rule book that they are letting go, whether it's bodies or maybe some mechanical stuff. And you never know when it's going to get you. And everybody's pushing the limits. And I just hope that if there are future rule changes or adjustments, that they don't happen mid-season, or you get in a situation where a track has let something go all year long. You go run a $5,000 show there, and then all of a sudden it's not okay. That's not good for the sport. They need to be consistent with the rules. And like I said, it's there is a lot of gray in that rule book. And I think that's one thing that's going to be hard for the, like I said, not to be insulting, but, you know, the guys that have been in the class, the street stock class for years and have grown accustomed to racing a certain type of car, it's not gonna work anymore. You're gonna have to go to work on the car for aero, and the maintenance and all that stuff's gonna have to get brushed up, because you have guys and teams coming down, bringing that next level of racing down to this class. So it's not really, guys aren't getting out money. It's not happening. You can only spend so much on these street stocks, which I love, because at the core of the rules, you really only can do so much. I don't know. It's not money. It's just like I said, we just got some top tier guys moving down into the class, and it's changing the structure of it.
Sounds like you're trying to rewrite a few more lines in the rule book.
Oh yeah, for sure. And we're not the only ones, man. I see them teams out there, them guys.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there's guys out there doing the same thing. So
back to moving from mods to street stocks. What made you decide to start from scratch and build your own car versus going out and buying one, or just the satisfaction that comes from that? Building something from scratch the first time and then winning at it pretty much with it immediately, pretty much.
yeah, so I mean, it's one of the most rewarding things I've ever done, aside from our baby girl that we had, just a month ago. But it's I've always wanted to build my own car, but to be honest with you, I didn't feel like I could build the piece that I needed to in the modified division, and I priced cars from some of the top chassis builders, and I was floored at the prices of these cars. To get rollers from, just to name some, the Statements, the Track Stars. I know racing them with their forward cars. I don't know pricing on them, but I'm sure it's up there. I'm just assuming, and it should be, because I think the sport's changing in an aspect too, where you guys are wanting to get paid for their services. Brian Barber, a good friend of mine at Bandit Chassis, he told me, he's like, we basically build these cars for nothing, and they're the shopping cart. We make our money off the parts that go on them. And when I got to looking at how much it took to build one of these cars, I'm like, man, I understand why they are priced the way they are, but it was a financial decision for me and a personal goal to build this car. And like I said, it's turned out quite well. Our first race out in the car was at King of Bluegrass, and we ran 5th in it. And then second night
Brandon,
out was fall. Yes.
I do remember that race quite well. How many practice laps did you make on practice night though? I remember after practice was over, you were still making laps when they were trying to turn the lights off. Yeah, for sure. I think we unloaded that thing at like 6 o'clock that night at the track, and I mean, it was god awful. Like, car wasn't bad, but I think we were like a second off pace. It was terrible. We were like, we done messed up here. So we went to work on it. We finished 5th in that race. We went to Fall Brawl at Clarksville. We ran 7th. Again, just not very good results, but I felt something in the car, and I knew the direction we needed to go. And Brandon and I put our heads together. That next night, we went down there and we won that $3,000 show, our 3rd night in the car, and it's been on since then.
Speaking of Brandon Dearlam, what's he mean to your program? I know y'all are real close. I don't ever see you at the track without him and your dad and the rest of your family too. You're all together. So how important is it to have those guys in your corner and helping you out?
It's everything, honestly. Sometimes I get emotional, so forgive me if I do here, but man, it means everything. I tell everybody that I would have nothing if it wasn't for my dad getting me into racing and continuing to help me with the financials of it. And I would not have the speed that I had if Brandon wouldn't have came and took me underneath his wing. And what started as, I guess, what you could call a racing ship turned into one of my best friendships. So it's if either one of them guys decides that they need to move on and that they don't want to do this anymore, then I'm doing the same, because I literally cannot do it without them. It's I don't know. It's awesome to have them in my corner.
Well, Brandon, why do they call you Batman?
Okay, so we'll get a little backwoods, kind of trashy on this. So I'm kind of known for having like blacked out, just dark appearing cars. Well, it was one year we were starting to build some success on a local level at Tri-State Speedway, and fan base was starting to grow. People were starting to kind of hang out around the trailer after the races and stuff. And these three half drunk guys kind of showed up, and they were like, "Hey man, good run! Your car looks like the Batmobile." He's like, "So I guess you're like Batman, I guess." I was like, "All right, cool." Well, I guess somebody overheard it, and one thing led to another, and the announcer he picked up on it. He started calling me Batman. Next thing I know, we got shirts with Batman on it. I'm wearing a Batman driving suit, and here it is.
That's
the
awesome.
kid, you know what's
That's
cool?
really awesome.
The kids love it. And it was something I wasn't even thinking about at the time, but the kids love it. So that's another thing too. That's pretty cool.
I haven't seen it, but do you have like a Batman emblem on your car anywhere?
So usually what we do, the number 18 on my car, it's got a reflective bat in it. You can't really, there you go.
Yeah,
you
you
get the
see it
flash
good.
on it pops. So
Yeah, then you got it there on the driving suit.
oh my God, put a hat on that guy. Hey, hats off to Barry there, man, because he that's probably one of the best post-race interviews I've had in a while. The man just he's good with his words. So he kept that one flowing well.
Yeah, I wish
Was
I
that
could.
from Saturday night?
Yeah, that's from Saturday night. I wish I could have heard it. I was upstairs trying to get stuff ready for the next race and whatnot, so I didn't get to hear it. But yeah, Barry, shout out to him. He's really good at what he does, and I think he's one of the best announcers in our area. Him and Matt Benton both.
Yeah, him and honestly, him and his wife Joni. I mean, they've been huge supporters of mine since the first days of mini stock at Chandler. So got a long history with them too.
So you picked up the win this past weekend at Western Kentucky Speedway, the Spring Fling. What's your next race that you're heading to?
It'll be that King of Bluegrass. Yep.
Okay.
We'll
So you're not going to make
Friday.
the Thunder Hill Tuckessee?
Unfortunately not. Again, it's just scheduling between work and life, and yeah. So it's Western Kentucky will be our next race.
Good deal.
I know you've only been in the straight stocks for a couple of years, but who's become like one of your biggest rivals? Someone that when you go out on the track you want to beat?
Clayton Miller. I mean, a lot of respect for him and the Markhams. I really do. Got a great relationship. But man, I want that dude so bad. Man, oh my God, I've never wanted something more than when we was running that King of Bluegrass. Oh man, yeah. And I mean, it was clean. It was a respectful race. One of them things where probably could have pushed it a little more, but I don't know, man. I want him, but I want it outright. I want it clean, and I want it right.
Yeah, I think that feature race between you two and even Oakley there at the end was one of my favorite races of the years. Like you said, good, clean racing. Nobody ever touched. You had plenty of opportunities if you wanted to, rough them up a little bit and get by. You could have, and nobody would have thought twice. But
Yeah.
just a lot of respect. That was awesome to watch. It's not very often you see,
That's a good clip there.
top three in victory lane all smiling and, at least acting like you're happy with how it comes out.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, Cole, we had a bad deal happen to us at Clarksville at that fall brawl last year, and Clayton and I, we got together, and it was no more than, we're battling for the lead for $3,000, and neither one of us wanted to give an inch. He's doing what he had to do, and I was doing what I had to do, and it just speaks of the respect that we have for each other. We knew that nothing was intentional. There was no bad blood. We were mad and upset at the circumstances, but not at each other.
Right.
And that's always good when you can shake hands, look at each other, and say, "Hey, this was a racing deal," and it in the pit of your stomach that's what it was. It was sometimes things just happen.
Yeah.
Did you get to race? Did you get to race Clayton a lot in the back when you was running the modifieds?
Yeah, 9 times out of 10, he was whipping my ass. So,
So I can see why you're wanting to get him.
Yeah, he was tough, man. I mean, there was tracks that on a local level. I mean, Tri-State was our best track. It was our bread and butter. I felt like I could have taken anybody in the country there. But I don't know. Usually Clayton would come out ahead, and like I said, that man's been racing a long time, and hats off to him, and even like Trent Young, man. Got two guys that are super talented, very successful modified careers, and they're even dabbling in the street stock stuff. And I guess that's one thing that kind of gets me a little bit is I don't understand. Like when we run well in the street stock, I hear a lot of, oh, he's cheating, or there's no way this or that. But if Clayton or Trent runs well, it's expected, and they're just wheel man, and they are. But like, can we get some credit too that maybe we have a decent driver and we've got a good car too? It does. I don't know why it always has. There's this stigma of cheating around me all the time, and I don't understand it.
I think I seen on one of the races videos at Ford last week, getting Tyler Nicely getting a brand new street stock.
Yep, they went and picked it up Sunday, I think. So I think he'll be debuting that at the King of the Bluegrass as well, from what I understand.
And that's another thing too that I like about this class is the box that you have to work in is so small and tight that it kind of Tyler's he's a hell of a wheelman, and he's got to where he is because he's talented and he's made the right moves and he's made the right contacts with people. And I'm not trying to take anything away from that. But there are some guys in the modified division that have had access to resources that some of us couldn't afford, even if you could. I mean, I've tried to buy these resources and just been told no. You're just not part of the end clique. And that's one thing I like about this class is Tyler, Trent, Clayton, those guys are going to come, and the cream's always going to rise to the top. They are going to be at the front of these street stock races, but I feel like somebody who's in a position such as I am that maybe lack resources in the modified division, now I can make up for that in this class. I can compete with them guys better.
It narrows the gap.
Correct.
Absolutely, yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, I've been looking at a lot of the qualifying times here lately. I think from 2nd to 10th or 12th Saturday night, somewhere around there was like 0.2 of a second. And these big races, you qualify 15th and think you run like shit, and then look at times like, oh well, it's only 0.15 off a third.
Yes, you're exactly right. This class is a race of tenths or hundreds. It's a tenth or hundreds. It's very, very tight.
Yeah, that's what I enjoy about it. Because there's 20 or 30 cars that if qualify right, they can contend for a win. And if you make one mistake qualifying, you're buried for the rest of the evening.
Yep.
Well, Brandon, do you have a website, or how can fans keep up with your racing, career? And do you want to thank any of your sponsors that you have?
Yeah. So, I mean, really, we're just kind of on Facebook. Black Magic Motorsports is the team. I've always tried to push that because, like we talked, I always was concerned that maybe I would get too much of the attention of just because the driver gets most of the attention. But I've always tried to push the team thing, especially because of my dad, Dearlum, the support from my wife. And man, we have a huge following that comes to the races with us or is watching on TV or supporting us on Facebook. And it's everybody. So that's why I try to push the Black Magic Motorsports thing. It's a blanket term to cover everybody that's a part of this program. But yeah, they can check us out on Facebook, Black Magic Motorsports.
How about your sponsors?
Okay, so like I said, first and foremost, my dad. I mean, I wouldn't be in this sport if it wasn't for him. Dearlum, if I didn't have his help, I couldn't do this or have the speed that I have. My wife Caitlin, little girl Millie that's here now. Black Magic Motorsports, a team. Demon Chassis is the car that we build. R&D Flooring, Proctor Power Washing, Bright Steel, Youngblood Performance, Greg's Auto Sales, LRD Products, my buddy Chris Anderson, and Burnt by Buddha.
Good deal, man. Well, Cole, you got anything else for Brandon?
No, I think he pretty much, hell, he answered most of my questions on his own before I could even get to him.
Well, Brandon, you've been a great interview, man. We appreciate your time. If you can for us, push out this interview or this episode with you in it to your fans and everything. And if you can, go out and give us a like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. We're trying to make this thing grow and, again, give you drivers more recognition and our sponsors more recognition. So, again, we appreciate it, man. You've been a great interview.
Yes, sir. I told you it'd be
Well,
good.
Yeah, it's been really
I
good.
appreciate you guys doing this and what you do with both of your series. It's like I said, Street Stocks, they're healthy and they're going the right direction right now. So
Well, good deal. Well, good luck at the Battle of the Bluegrass, and hopefully we'll see you at the Southern Street Stock Nationals and the World Championship toward the end of the year.
All right, thank you. Look forward to it.
We appreciate you, Brandon.
Yep,
Yep,
thank you
see ya.
again. Wow, what an interview, Cole.
I told you it was going to be good, didn't I?
Yeah, that was a good one, real good one.
Yeah.
And I think he has some real good, I mean, just the way he carries himself, I mean, it was really, really good.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a lot of fun to watch and talk to at the track. You know, we talk about, different things about life and racing in general, and a lot of good information, you get from him.
Yeah, I thought it went really, really, really well.
Yep.
Well, Cole, episode 7.
Yep.
How we doing on our subscribers now?
We picked up a few, I think. I forgot, what was that, 115 last time?
Yep, so 118,
We're
not
up to
bad.
118, yeah. Still several away from our goal. Kind of starting to feel like not so confident in it, but hey, we're having fun. We're gonna keep, whether we hit this goal or not.
Oh, we're gonna keep
We're gonna
driving.
keep doing. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and we enjoy the feedback from the fans. All 2 or 3 of them. And yeah.
Well, look, the whole thing of this deal was to get recognition like what we just did for Brandon,
Yep.
and for our sponsors and just street stock and factory stock racing in general.
Absolutely.
So really, I know we joke about the subscribers and everything. As long as we can get, these 2 classes put in the spotlight and give them a little bit more than what they get already,
Yep.
we've done our job, and I think we're doing that with keeping it straight.
Absolutely.
Well, Cole, me and you've been talking this week about the future of street stock racing and what we can see maybe possibly taking place in the next year or so. And I know we've talked about some of our goals. What are some things that you would like to see over the next year in street stock racing?
More money. It's more money being thrown out there. We love these 5,000 win events, but I think it's time. Alltech and Scriven, you all at Why Not with the World Championship have started to take it to the next level. Paying 10, 12,000 to win, and just ready to see more of that type of thing. And then as well as just us continuing as part of series and the tracks, the drivers, and everything working together to continue to grow it. Because that's something I think we talked about the other day. Is it's me and you talk constantly about scheduling, and if we got to make up an event, put it on, making sure it's not going to interfere with another event. But I think it goes further than that. I think the drivers and chassis builders and sponsors are also trying to work to continue to grow the class and the sport. And that's pretty cool to see.
You know, one of the things that we've always talked about is getting complacent or stagnant or something like that with what we're doing.
Right.
You know, and that's why I think, really, honest and truly, your region right now is probably one of the most important regions in CRUSA Street Stocks. Going beyond the Tennessee borders, a little north, and try to stretch out that footprint, because you know the only way that you're going to be able to keep up good car counts at some of these races is by getting more people involved.
Yeah.
You know,
And
my goal would be to go further with that footprint, maybe get up into the Illinois and Indiana cruise with the CRUSA Street Stocks eventually. Right now, the goal would be to, you know, to build a strong pool of cars that you could pull from up there in your region. But I think that's one of the worst things you can do with anything is get complacent or get stagnant and not try to grow. And I think you're doing a great job with the Tuckessee Street Stock Series and making that happen up in that region, a region that we really need to stretch out to.
I do appreciate that, and I want to thank you for the part you played in kind of opening my eyes to a different point of view with it, to be willing to take that extra step to start the series and try to expand it. And I feel like we got a pretty solid R base up here, but yeah, I'm
Well,
looking.
heck, you just had a race this past weekend, 1,000 to win, which there are a lot of those out now. And you had what, 22 show up?
21 or 22, yeah.
I mean, that is awesome.
Yeah, so I
And you know what was good about that? I looked at it on my race pass, and I could be wrong, but I want to say 18 out of those 21 were from Kentucky in your area.
that's what I was about to say. Is I know every promoter and track, feels like they got the best this, the strongest that, but I honestly feel like that us here at Western Kentucky Speedway have one of the strongest weekly, or it's not really weekly because we don't race every week, but every time we have an event, I can count on anywhere from 12 to 15 cars to show up at minimum. We've had some regular 600 wins last year, I think, and had 20 cars sign in. So,
See, that's great.
yeah, so it doesn't happen every time, but I know that when we open the gates, there's going to be 12 or 13 at minimum, unless like we raced the same night as the Jason Maurer Memorial at TNR last year, and I think we had 8 cars run because there were several that went down there to race. But other than that, yeah,
Which won't happen in 2024 because
No.
the Tuckessee Street Stock Series is actually sanctioning that race.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that'll be one we're going to
One
be
day,
off
5,000 to win?
2-day 5,000.
Tuesday? Okay.
But yeah, so that's going to be one we're really looking forward to, and try to help that event grow from what it started as last season.
Good deal. Well, I also noticed at your Spring Fling, and I know we're switching channels going to a different thing here, but we're allowed to do that when we're doing this the way we're doing it now. But your factory stock went from like 4 the first week, and you had what, 14 of them this past week?
Yeah, I think we
And
had.
that's a new class to your track, right?
Yeah, and I want to say we only had 3. Well, I'll say only 3, but if we had 4, then that's pretty much the whole field. But yeah, it was had 15 sign in. It was more than a Rusty Bolt class, which surprised me. And yeah, so hopefully that's a sign of things to come, and we can continue building that car count, and build it as strong as our street stocks and our mini stocks are.
Now, does that factory stock class fall in the rules of basically like Why Not and Magnolia and some of the tracks around here run, or do y'all have some different rules?
I think it's similar, but there's a few differences. I'd have to go through and really look. I'm not much of a rules guy. Anybody message me asking about rules, I'll send him to Rex, let him deal with it.
But if those guys wanted to come, they could run their track rules
Yeah.
and run the exceptions that we have,
Right,
and not
absolutely.
have any major changes to their car.
Yeah.
So again, growth,
Yep.
not being complacent with what we have down here. And, that to me, that is really awesome.
Yeah, we've had our bomber class for the past 4 or 5 years, and we'd have some strong car counts every now and then, but overall, there wasn't any, like you said, you got to have growth, or if not growth, get to a point where you're have easily 2 heats every night and a strong field, and we just weren't getting that with our bombers, so we decided to scrap it and swing for the fences and try something new. And need a little bit more of a sample size to see if it's working or not. But if it doesn't work, then hey, we killed a class from last season, had six cars, so it can't get much worse.
Yeah. Well, the factory stock class is probably the top, or maybe the 604s. But anyway, one of our top classes at Walnut.
Yeah.
When we open the gates, we're getting anywhere from 15 to 20 of those,
Yep.
you know, on a weekly show. Then we have a big show where we push somewhere in the 40 range, you know.
Yeah, that's
So,
good. They always put on a good show too.
Oh yeah, nationals, we got what, 130 last week
I think so. Yeah.
or last year? I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I
Yeah.
think at the Battle of the States we had right at 40. So they always show up whenever it's, you know, there's a little bit of money there,
Yeah.
and they show up for our weekly show. So they're one of our strongest weekly classes.
Yeah, everybody likes the 604s and late models and modifieds for the speed, but like what Brandon said a little bit ago, you know, street stocks and factory stocks, they're a little bit slower, but they race 3 and 4 wide, you know, all throughout the field. You know, the racing may not be as fast, you know, they're not turning close to the same lap times, but the racing I feel is better 90% of the time.
Well, let me ask you, and here's another proof to that.
Mm-hmm.
IMCA, another sanctioning body.
Yep.
When you see highlight reels, are you seeing highlight reels of the modified racing, or are you seeing highlight reels of the IMCA stock cars?
Stock cars.
Exactly.
Yep. Yeah.
Yep.
So that's
It's amazing.
Weird how that works, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Well, back to the street stock thing, Cole. Me and you've been talking about this a little bit, and I think might be able to put it in motion for 2025. It's too late to do it this year, but we've been talking about a north versus south 10,000 win street stock race at a central located track. Now, we don't want to announce the track yet because we're still working some of the details out with them. But how can you see that playing out?
I think it'd be fun. It's going to be good. You know, the Tuckessee Street Stock Series versus the Mississippi Street Stock Series.
10,000 win.
10,000 to win, 2-day show. What, 400 to start, I think is what we're thinking.
400 or 500, yes.
Yeah. So I'm sure we could probably make some phone calls and get some of that start money boosted up possibly. But
no doubt. But yeah, we've kind of put the wheels in motion, and it's a race that we possibly will see in 2025. We're just trying to find the right date. Like I said, we are working with the track to make that happen. We don't have anything official, but the wheels are in motion, and it looks like we're about an 80% chance of that happening in 2025.
Yeah, I guess I need to start looking at the calendar and
both of us
figure out what weekend would work, because it's getting harder and harder to schedule these events.
Yeah,
every year.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You know, even 12 years ago when I started this, and we still do it to this day, we try not to overload the schedule. You know, to where we're racing 15 to 20 times. We're trying to stay into that 10 to 12 range, to where these guys can still support their track, local track, and weekly program, and you know, still be able to support the series at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, that's the whole thing. We got to find some way to make that still happen no matter what.
Yeah, it's important to keep the weekly tracks going, and then sorry about that. Yeah, I lost my train of thought there.
Weekly tracks going.
Yeah, and just, you know, we want to continue to do more big shows and grow the big events, but you don't want to do it at the expense of the series or other tracks in a particular region.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because if we could put on a big show and draw 60 or 70 cars, but it kills a local track, is it really worth it in the end?
Yeah. Well, we got to keep the local. I mean, if you don't have a local class, I mean, we do go to some tracks that don't run the CRUSA Street Stocks on a weekly basis. But most of the time, you're hoping they do. That way, when you do show up, your car counts are decent and them guys are supporting you.
Right.
Like,
You just
I think it
gotta-
was Baton Rouge this past weekend, their weekly track. They ran on a Saturday night last weekend. They normally run on a Friday night, but I think they had 19 street stock.
damn it.
That was an unbelievable turnout. Just regular person, no added money or anything.
Right. That's
Hopefully,
good.
hopefully that was to prepare for the Bayou Bash next weekend at Baton Rouge, the Mississippi Street Stock Series race. But yeah, it was a great turnout down there. Dan and Lacoste, big supporter of the Mississippi Street
Yep.
Stock Series, picked up another win down there. So he's going to be tough when
Yeah.
our guys come in there.
Yeah, I was about to ask who won it, but you took the words right out of me.
Yeah, Dan and Lacoste. Well, we're going to try it again this weekend, Cole. Why not Motorsports Park? Try to finish up the 2024 Battle of the States. Lineup is set. Logan and Hayden are on the front row. We got a 24-car field. It's going to be the first race of the night. We're going to high lap qualify everybody, all the other classes, and the street stock. All classes will high lap qualify.
Right.
And then we're going to go do our makeup races. The Mississippi Street Stock Series 1500 to win. The Pawpaw George Memorial Open Wheel Modified 3000 to win. Makeup race. And then we got a Mississippi Crate Late Series 1500 to win feature race. So those will be the first three races of the night. And then after that, we'll go straight into our program for April 20th. And we will start our features for tonight for all of our local classes. Plus, we have another 1500 to win Mississippi Crate Late Series race that night also.
It sounds like y'all got a busy night of racing. Should be a lot of good racing, and hopefully you get everyone that was supposed to start the makeup features will show up and put on two good shows.
I know I'm going to be missing maybe one. Carl Kilgore, his family owns Greenville Speedway, and Carl Stanley Kilgore is a big supporter of the series. I mean, he came in second last year. I know it's killing him not to be able to come back to Wynot because he loves that track. Plus, he won the Battle of the States last year. But that's their opening night at Greenville Speedway, and I know he wants to be there to support his family, so he won't make it back. Again, we do have a drop race, so that won't keep him out from running for points. But I expect everybody else to be there. We might miss one or two more. But what's going to be interesting is if we have any new cars show up in that second feature, we are going to pay $750 to win on the street stocks for their second feature, increase the money a little bit for them. So somebody could possibly walk out there with over $3,000.
It won't be a bad weekend.
No, not at all. So, but yeah, hopefully Mother Nature will work with us. I know there's a little scare on that, but hopefully she'll work with us. We'll be able to get the show in and get ready for our big doubleheader next weekend.
You still got a couple days left before the weekend, so maybe the Mother Nature decide to play nice and finally let you get a.
Here, let me do a quick update, Cole, while we're here. See, I use this. Kenny Morgan calls it my promoter's weather app, which is nothing more than basically the weather app on the iPhone.
Yeah.
Well, say like earlier today, it was showing 40% for Saturday. Now on this promoter weather app, it's showing nothing, just cloudy. So who knows?
It's better than what mine's showing for you.
Well, we ain't going to talk about that.
Not, yeah.
We're going to stick to the promoter's weather app, as Kenny calls it.
You're not like me, are you? And check all your apps, and whichever one tells you what you want to see is the one you go with.
Well, if somebody asks me that, I'm probably going to tell them the best one.
Yeah. Austin laughs at me all the time because I have. How many weather apps I got on here? One, two,
your favorite one's what? WeatherBug?
My favorite one's whichever one tells me what I want it to be.
Yeah.
So I got 8 weather apps on my phone, and 7 of them can be telling me it's going to rain. But if that
one not,
that's the one we're going with.
I hear you.
I promise you, I'm not going with the. Yeah.
But to be realistic on that, this event has rained out already once. Mm-hmm. So if it even, I don't want to say even, but if it looks like if the percentages are high,
you're not
through the majority of the way out, we're not going to
Yeah.
take the chance of it getting rained out again, because we definitely don't want that for these guys to travel back for the second time
Right.
and it get rained out again.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I understand that 100%.
oh, if is there an important date coming up like 2 weeks from today?
Well, we got a couple important dates. First, we got a
Oh yeah, let's
next
don't forget April 27th. That's next week.
Next weekend, we got the
Round two, baby.
round 2 of the Tuckessee Street Stock Series. We'll be down at Jason Walker's track in Summertown, Tennessee, Thunderhill Raceway Park. We'll pay $2,000 to win. I think $150 to start. So that's
That's going to be a good one, man.
I think so. I've been to the first and the third Kyoto Faulkner Memorial Race down there, and both times awesome racing all through the field. You know, guys could run top.
Who won it last year? Clayton?
Yeah, Clayton won the first year. Oakley won the second year, I believe, and then Clayton won again in 2023.
So Clayton's 2 for 3. I wonder if they're going to make it down.
I'm not sure. I meant to ask Matt about that at Western Kentucky Saturday night, but he got there late as usual. If he's there 10 minutes after the driver's meeting, then he's there early. And
we have a couple like that.
Yeah. He called me about 15 minutes before draw closed. I said, "You gonna make it on time?" He said, "Well, of course not." He said, "You know better than that." I was like, "I'll get you signed in." I said, "Transponder number is still the same." Oh, yeah. So I didn't.
Is Brian Markham his brother?
Yeah, Brian Markham's his brother.
Does he pull in with Clayton, or does he get there a little bit earlier?
No, Brian makes sure to get there at a decent time if he can. He's there probably an hour or so before draw closed. So he doesn't drag his feet as much as Clayton and Matt do.
Yeah. Well, man, I hope you have good car counts. Man, I watched the race I think it was this past weekend from Thunderhill with Keenan and Trevor.
Yep.
The track looks like it could be real racy.
It is.
Looks like it's got some banking to it too.
It's got a lot of banking. Yeah. The first time I went there, I looked at it. I was like, I don't know about this. It looks like it's going to be. I was expecting to be one line, wasn't being very racy, and I was quickly proven wrong.
Good, man. I hope y'all have a good turnout next weekend. Next weekend we have our doubleheader. We have Baton Rouge on Friday night, pays 1,500 win, and then Pike County that pays 1,500 win on Saturday night. And those two tracks are literally an hour and a half apart. So hopefully we'll have a good turnout. But I just seen you throw another slide up there. That's going to happen in what, 2 weeks from tomorrow?
2 weeks from tomorrow will be practice night for the 6th annual King of the Bluegrass and Little John Gray Memorial.
Did you just say 6th annual?
6th annual.
Good God.
Yeah, it'll be the.
It just seems like that race will come together like a few years ago, but
yeah,
it seems like the older you get, Cole, the more time flies by, buddy.
Well, the first time that you were there was the 4th annual, I think. We'd already had it for 3 years. And then then when Ultimate come through, it came about, and I think I pestered Josh enough to get a date. And
which was a smart move, by the way.
Yeah, I think.
I'm not saying on your behalf, more on the Ultimate half. I mean, because what's a shame is just like what Brandon said earlier tonight. He would plan on running the Ultimate, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah, I think we got lucky in getting to that date, didn't we? Because y'all originally didn't you want to go to Tennessee, but couldn't get a track to.
We had a couple track promoters that
didn't see
the benefits of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. I remember when Josh messaged me and asked what we wanted. I said, "Hell yeah!" So whatever we got to do, we'll do whatever. We definitely want in, no matter what it takes. And it was one of the best decisions I feel like we've made. Was getting in on that early. Wish the series would have lasted a little longer, but I think we got some things in the works, and
Yeah, Brandon said earlier, he said earlier that he wouldn't mind, doing the ultimate, and that he was afraid we was going to lose some races. But I don't think we've really lost any races that was going to be on the schedule, except maybe the Livonia one.
Well, yeah, but I don't even think that was with the change of ownership. I don't think that one was going to work out anyways, was it?
Yeah, we're going to probably lose it. Yeah, well, I think we've talked about this before. I think so.
Yeah,
I mean,
that.
there was still a chance that it possibly could have happened in July, but it just didn't work out.
I think Cherokee might take a little bit of a hit on the street stock shootout
Well,
potentially.
there's no doubt of that. I mean, with East Bay running their last street stock race, our big street stock race,
Yeah,
I think is it Tim Gates putting on that race,
I know
paying $9,000 to win.
Yeah, I know it's a memorial for. Is it his dad that it's a memorial race for?
I think so. I don't want to speak on something that
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure, but you might be right.
Yeah, or maybe grandfather. I don't. It's a gay something another gay
Yeah.
memorial, if I remember right.
Yeah,
But
but back
yeah.
to you, the king of the bluegrass, man. How's the entry fees coming? Or pre-entries?
I think we are at 14 or 15 pre-entries.
Almost to a full field.
Sorry about that. It was Mr. McDowell sending me a message real quick.
Yep. Almost a full field.
Yeah. But yeah, I put a list together of cars I'm expecting and that I've heard from, and I think we'll be around 40 to 45 mark, possibly a little higher. So yeah, I think it's going to be a good show.
Yeah, I hope it turns out good. I hope y'all have great weather. You don't have to sweat, weather.
Yeah.
Because again, makeup dates are a pain in the butt.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not going to talk about the weather right now. It's finally looking better for us, so I'm
leaving it at that, huh?
We'll leave it at that. Yeah.
So that's Western Kentucky's next race, though, is the King of the Bluegrass.
Yep. That'll be our next
Good
race
deal.
here. 2 weeks from tomorrow will be practice, and yeah, Friday we'll kick it off. Complete show, 1,200 to win, 100 to start for the street stocks, and then Friday will be, or not Friday, Saturday we'll start over, do it again. 5,000 to win, 400 to start, 1-day show.
Well, Cole, we got something else that I just thought about. Guess what kicks off? Friday night at Columbus Speedway in Columbus, Mississippi.
Oh yeah,
at the Bull Ring.
Yeah.
The Factory Stock Super Series.
Yeah, that's
Mr. Billy Walker will bring his series up there to be their debut race. Me and you talked a little bit about it earlier, what we thought car count was going to be. I think they're going to be somewhere in between 22 to 26 maybe, which I think for a Friday night race would be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping that's that the drivers will support that deal. Really thankful that Billy decided to, very last minute pick up where the ultimate factory stock series fell apart and put something together for those guys that I think they were really excited about having a series and kind of bummed when that went to shit for a minute. And
the ultimate deal.
Yeah, I think this is going to.
And if you're new to watching our videos here, Keeping It Straight, if you go back and watch episode 3, if you want to know more about the Factory Stock Super Series, we have an actual interview with Billy. It was a great interview. He explained a lot of the series and what's going to take place. So yeah, if you want to know more about the series, you can go back to episode 3 and check it out.
Yeah, and while you're there, check out all of them, man. Yep. Hey, we got Hayden Moran on at first.
The Brights,
Logan and Trey Bright. That was a good interview. Episode 3, that was
Billy, wasn't it?
That was Billy, I think. Yep. That Chance Smith, Cooter Harris,
talking about their 2 big races. And that's been me and you for 5 and 6.
5 and 6, yeah, it was just me and you. We had an interview with Trevor Woodard. We
Right.
just posted separately, you know, just trying different things to see what works for us on our end and what you guys like. But yeah,
Cole, when we're gonna be ready to get the fans involved?
I think next
Go
week.
live. Do it live. Do we want to try live next week?
I think we try it. I mean,
I'm all for it.
we did this video in one shot. I think we figured out how we could do a driver interview and, you know, our two ugly mugs rambling. And
We ramble a lot.
yeah, but hey, it's
We
fun.
try to ramble about good things, though.
Yeah.
I mean, we did talk about chicken shit last week. I don't know if that was a good thing or not.
Yeah. I found out my boss watches the show. Thankfully,
That's funny as hell. Thankfully, we didn't say nothing derogatory, right?
yeah. Thankfully, he didn't send me to haul some chicken shit the next day. But yeah, I
Yeah,
did,
you might,
I
you
did
might
get a
be at
phone
the top of
call.
the list of that.
Yeah, I did get a phone call. He said, "So you don't like hauling chicken shit, huh?" I said, where'd you hear that from?"
You know, that's what's crazy, man. I mean, you wouldn't believe the text and calls I get, messages about people watching the show.
Yeah.
And again, I think just a lot of people don't have YouTube accounts, and
Yeah.
or either they just not hitting that button. But if you get a chance and you got a YouTube account, or you don't have one, make one. Hit that subscribe button, because eventually we'll get to where we do more live shows. We'll do some on-site stuff, and we're going to do it through YouTube Live. And you know, the way you'll be able to comment and interact with us, you'll have to have an account to do that.
Yeah. I think we're definitely going to do a live show at the Nationals, I'd say.
Probably more than one.
Yeah, well, one for each night, possibly.
Yeah, one for yeah.
Yeah.
And live shows, we don't have to edit those, do we, Cole?
No, I mean, I don't edit these anymore.
We got pretty good. We ain't had a cut or anything like that in a while.
We had one last week, I think, about 30 seconds in. I
Yeah.
had to start over, but
What happened there? I can't even remember. Did I probably stumbled my words or something?
I think you called me Josh or something.
I did what?
I think you called me Josh or something.
Josh.
I don't remember what you did.
It could have been. It could have been. That's what happens when you get old, Cole.
I hear you. I'm not even old, and I'm start having trouble with that every now and then.
But again, folks out there, man, what a great interview with Brandon McDowell.
Yeah.
Go out and like his page on Facebook at Black Magic Motorsports. I don't know Brandon a lot, but I'm gonna tell you something. That was a really, really good interview. I learned a lot about him tonight for sure.
Yep.
Old Batman.
I was trying to figure out why my slideshow wasn't playing.
That's his new baby girl he had held up in the air there.
Yeah, I think she's probably
A month, maybe?
maybe a month old. Yeah, I know it was the first trip
Yeah,
to the
there you go.
racetrack, and undefeated as a new dad.
How about that? Sharp looking car.
Yeah. We got one more thing we was gonna discuss, I think.
What's that?
Something about quick changes, maybe.
Oh.
Do you think it'll ever happen?
Back to the street stocks for 2025 thing. I don't know. Possibility?
I don't know
Oh.
when it'll happen, but I think it's inevitable. It has to happen sooner than later.
You're probably right. But I do think there are a couple roadblocks out there. You know, do you come out and basically do like a spec quick change, you know, to where everybody has to run the same type of quick change, and, you know, there's some points on it that, you know, they're heavily going to tech.
Yeah.
Like, do we want to I mean, I don't know a lot about cars, but I'm sure there's some ways that you can go inside these quick change and put lighter parts in them, polish them, whatever,
Right.
to make, you know, the drivetrain do whatever, you know. So I think they're going to have to do something like that. But I think there you run into a problem because now you're talking about maybe a little bit money to whereas a guy can go to a late model team and buy a used quick change for $400 or $500, change the axle tubes to steel tubes or whatever the rules are going to be, and run that one versus having to go out and spend anywhere from 1,800 to 2,500 for a quick change.
Right.
I don't know, but
I would like.
I did hear that it was getting kind of surveyed a little bit down at Alltech about running the quick change, and there might be some R&D started up. I'll just say that.
Yeah, it seems like the conversation is definitely started.
It's alive again. About 2 years ago, the first year at Ultimate, we tried to get it, pushed a little bit.
There was a lot of politicking was going on then, and
yes, and basically it just wasn't time. And here we are 2 years later, and it's coming up again, and maybe it is time. I mean, I know when we surveyed about 120 cars, and out of those 100 to 120 cars, we only had one person say no, they really don't want to see the quick change. So I don't know.
I think to me it's a no-brainer, and even the guys that don't want to go to it,
They don't have to.
No, you don't have to. It's an option for one.
And I heard, in all actuality, I've heard that running a 4.9-inch has an advantage over a quick change.
That's what I've heard as well. And if you're one of these guys that's going to stay on.
But let's go back to this. If you don't put some type of rules in there,
right?
Some people can spend thousands of dollars to go in that quick change, lighting up to where that advantage that the 9-inch is gone. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's what I think. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not mechanically know a lot about that kind of stuff. So, but I can see if they don't put some kind of regulation on it, that's what you will see. You'll have people lighting them up as light as they can to get them to where that advantage that the 9-inch has would go away.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd like for them to, if they have to, take a year or two and get it right the first time instead of allowing.
Just saying, we're going to open the doors and let the floodgates open.
And I don't know what UMP does in dirt car with theirs, but
well, don't the modified sportsmen? They run quick changes.
Yep.
So I wonder what kind of limitations they have, or is it wide open? I don't know.
I don't know about that. I'd like, like I said, I'd like to see what UMP does for their stock cars, and see if that would make sense.
And then another roadblock you have with making a spec, quick change would be the people that are going to take on that, whether it be, I don't know, no companies, Bulldog or whoever, Franklin, whatever.
They keep up with the demand.
Demand, exactly. Yeah. You're talking about possibly right away 250 to 300 ordered right off the bat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot of
and some people like some of these chassis builders are probably going to want them in bulk. That way they can have them to build cars with.
Yeah.
So I just think there are a couple roadblocks, and I do think that it really needs to be thought out very well before we just open the floodgates.
Yeah.
But I was for it 2 years ago. I'm for it now. I just want to do it right.
Yeah. Yeah. The part of it that excites me the most, I guess, would be if it's done right. It could open the door for more cars from Indiana and Illinois that run UMP to
have the opportunity to come down and run with you.
Or
anywhere. They come down to the Street Stock Nationals.
Yeah, I think it has the potential to open the door to many more drivers if they want to come down and build their cars and engines to where it's complementary to both rules packages. It's just one less thing in the way. And that's kind of the aspect of it that intrigues me the most.
I tell you what, if we do go to quick change, there's going to be a big inventory of 4 9-inch chunks and 4 9-inches available, ain't there?
Oh yeah, there'll be some
The
good,
factory stock guys should be able to pick up something quick.
and even the street stock guys that don't want to,
Yeah, that won't run it. Yeah, they should be able to get gears and
know,
stuff cheap.
get some good lightweight and all that chunks for potentially half, 20-30% off of what they are now. So even if you don't want to go to a quick change, in my opinion, you should be pushing for it just as hard as the guys that
Get them cheap gears, a chunk. Yeah,
that's how I'll be looking at it.
yeah.
That's just my opinion. Who knows
But
what
the fear, the fear is also how far. I mean, even though these cars really have gotten way beyond what they're titled as a street stock,
yeah.
but where do you draw the line also on, all right, we got to stop. We've gone this far on letting them go to this point, when do we stop? I don't know, man. It's the biggest thing I don't want to see this class die. I mean, we both got a lot invested in with our series. To me, like Brandon said, it produces the best racing week in and week out.
Right.
Uh, and we've worked so hard to get some of these tracks to get in line and fall under the CRUSA sanction body, and then we've worked hard on getting big races. I don't want to deter anybody away from that because we just keep adding and adding and adding. So that's another con, I guess you would say, on the quick change. But overall, I'm for it because the traveling guys, which I, 100% back, it's going to make it easier on them.
Yeah. There's many ways to look at it. I don't know if it's. I guess the good thing is if it happens, I think it's good for the sport and the class. And if it doesn't,
Let me ask you something. Does it make racing better?
we'll never know until it happens.
Well, the reason I say that now,
It's already good.
It's great right now, but can we get even closer? Because now we're letting them play with the gears. They got more options for gears, and they can get, the other 10 points they need out now because they can go from one gear to the other to get closer to where they need to be. Possibility.
Yeah, there's 100 different ways to look at it, and none of them's wrong.
But I did hear, that they were asking questions at Alltech, and I do know that there's a little bit R&D going into it, and the possibility is closer to yes than it was last year.
Yeah, it sounds like they're at least open to it, and instead of shutting it down.
I thought I heard something from maybe it was Caleb McLaughlin that the Mideast, the Mideast guys already let it go. They're already running quick changes. And I don't know if this is because some of the cars are just wanting to stay closer to CRUSA or whatever, but I heard that they had a race, maybe at Friendship or one of the tracks, and out of the 20 cars, 2 of them were quick change and 18 of them were still on 9-inch.
Yep.
So I don't know.
Yeah, it's about like Clarksville in the Quicksilver series. They allowed quick changes 2 or 3 years ago. I think they started, and may have only had 2 cars, 3 cars.
Yeah, but is the people staying off a quick change because they still want to run CRUSA and they don't want to have to change their ends? I don't know. And that's probably what the reason is behind it. So I don't know. This will be interesting.
Yep.
2025 is going to be 2024 is a great year, but I think 2025 is going to be an interesting year.
Yeah. Just from things.
What did they do with the King of the Streets to make it better than what it was this year?
Yeah.
Because I've heard nothing but good things about it. Other than the tech part, which that wasn't bad. That's just part of the game, you know. But other than that, I heard nothing but positive stuff out of that. So what did they do for the second annual King of the Streets to make it better than what it was this year?
It'd be interesting to
find
out. Yeah.
Because I'm sure they're not going to sit on their hands and just say, okay, let's just process. If they do, again, back to that complacent thing, I don't know if it'll get any better.
I think they're going to go do their homework and go back to the drawing board and try to grow it from this year for sure.
Yeah. Well, Cole, you got anything else you want to talk about on this episode?
I think we covered it all.
Once again, thanks to all of our series sponsors. We got the ticker there where you see your business go across there. And also thank to Galloway Racing, their YouTube channel, for being a show sponsor. We appreciate everything y'all do for us. And we will have an announcement probably before Sunday or around Sunday, whether or not we go live next week for our show.
Yep.
But if we do go live, please, we don't want to go live and have one person out there. Join us, ask questions. We want to interact with the fans, see what your thoughts are on some of these questions that we have, drivers, anything that wants to join us. Yeah.
And always, if you've got a question you want us to answer, or bench racing topic, or just anything, send us a message.
And Cody Miller, we have not forgot about the one that you sent. We're going to get to what state holds the best street stock drivers.
I think that'd be a good discussion for our live show next week, where
for sure
people to chime in.
And I know last week we did a top 5, what me and Cole thought our top 5 drivers. And I've had one person kind of say, well, what about this guy and that guy? That was result based, not necessarily talent.
Yeah.
Who's got the best car? That was strictly off of results that we had seen up to this point. And we're going to do that again.
Yeah.
We'll get to another point of the year and we'll say, all right, Cole, here we are again. Who are our best 5 drivers, up to this point, So
yeah, that's
definitely we'll revisit that.
It's only going to get harder as more people race throughout the year.
And we are also putting together a Keeping It Straight Driver of the Year program. We just haven't come up with a format on how we want to do that yet, but we'll look for something like that in the next couple of weeks to where we come out and let you know how you can join that and apply for it and put your name in the hat for it. Well, Cole, what you think, buddy?
I think it's good. I think it was an awesome interview with Brandon.
Thank you for inviting him on the show.
Yeah, I wasn't Saturday night at the track. It was a rough night. I wasn't on my game all night, and I was ready to say screw it all and not do a show this week.
What?
And then it just wasn't one of those nights. But woke up Sunday, I thought, oh, hell, this ain't gonna be so bad. And I was like, well, Monday, I think I was riding around. It's like, screw it. I'm gonna message Brandon and see if he wants to come on one night this week. And I was definitely glad we did. It was an awesome interview. Always good talking to him. And definitely. I think we'll definitely be talking to him more in the future too.
And we'll try to have a driver lined up for next week. I do like bringing the drivers on. Like I said, this whole show's for them, and to give them some more recognition and stuff. So
maybe we'll get the winner of the Battle of States.
Yep. If we get a race this weekend, I will have that set up for next week for sure.
Yep. If you don't get that in, I don't know if any other races going on.
Yeah, I hope we get it in, man. I really do, because we're running out of days to make it up, and we have to make it up.
Yeah, it's not good to be running out of makeup dates middle of April.
Yeah, that's. Oh, I don't even want to think about that.
Make it up on practice night of the Nationals. Everybody's going to be there.
If this weather keeps up like it is, that might be what happens.
Yeah, I say that halfway jokingly, but it would.
We'd have to do it on the Thursday night or the Wednesday night. We don't have time Friday or Saturday.
No.
Probably have to do it Wednesday night, to be honest with you.
Wednesday'd probably be the best. Thursday is going to be
qualifying
busy as well.
And just give you a heads up, we will be making an announcement in the next week or two about when we'll be opening up the pre-entry, reserve parking, reserve camping, vendors. Anybody will start that registration. It'll be the Sunday of Memorial Day weekend. I'm not sure what that date is, but that's when we'll open it up. But you'll hear more details about all that here on Keeping It Straight.
Should be May 26th, I think.
There you go, May 26th, 5 o'clock.
So you'll be getting phone calls this week wanting to pre-enter.
Yeah, probably. But it's almost that time. Hard to believe it's upon us, but
I can't
we're
wait
getting
for it.
there.
I'm looking forward to making my second trip down, and I think Rex is coming down this year for it, and hanging out, and it'll be a good time.
Man, I like to get Brandon McDowell down again.
Yeah.
I know he said his work. I mean, and I understand. I mean, priorities are, you know, God bless him, because I mean, he has put racing in the right spot, you know.
Yeah.
But hopefully we'll get him back there, man, because the Nationals is the Nationals,
Yeah.
man. They ain't nothing better than seeing that 3 wide start, 39 cars or 36, whatever we start. It's awesome, man.
Yeah, it makes it a bit of a headache for the race director. But
Oh, what, lining 39 cars back up?
yeah. Yeah.
Yep. All right, Cole. Well, I'm gonna go eat some dinner. I ain't ate yet. Go take care of that, and I guess you're gonna be posting tonight, or what's the deal?
I'm gonna try to get it posted tonight. Don't think there's any editing that needs to be done, so hopefully we'll get it posted here whenever it lets me.
All right, buddy. I appreciate you, and I'll holler at you tomorrow.
Alrighty.